Hi, welcome back to episode 4, I believe, of Econ Flix. Today we will be discussing macroeconomics, which is the opposite of microeconomics. I know it sounds, but never mind. Never mind. Micro is like the more smaller stuff, small scale stuff. Macro is your larger scale stuff. This is what a lot of this stuff has to do with, like global trade as well as national governments and how they decide to spend their money. A lot of the bigger scale markets is what macroeconomics applies to. The first topic we'll be discussing would be federal budget. That is the amount of money that the government is allocated itself to spend every year or 10 years or whatever, how much money they decide to spend on their services. So that's education, military, at least in America, that's education, military, roads, hospitals. How much do they want to spend on that for the people? The GDP is the gross domestic product, so that's pretty much how much money your products are making. And then GDP per capita is like how much your country makes per like 1,000 people or per 100 people. It's a ratio to show how much each person really kind of is worth, almost, if that makes sense. Taxes. I hate taxes. Taxes are awful. But they're necessary. They're necessary for a successful society and economy. It's a certain part of how much you make that goes to the government, so they can have that federal budget, so they can spend their money, our money, on stuff. It's basically our pitch to making a road, if you think about it like that. A lot of people are pushing towards if you make more. I think the rule now is if you make over $400,000, you get taxed more than someone who makes less than $400,000, which makes sense. I mean, you have more money. But some people don't like that. The rich people don't like that because they want to keep their money. But I think that's kind of fair. I think you should be paying more if you're making more, because obviously you have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to spend on stuff, and then you have someone living in the projects who's paying they're making $15 an hour and they can't do anything. Unemployment in a country, that is huge for countries, because higher unemployment usually leads to inflation. Because more people are unemployed, that means that there's just less people to work. So if you're in a grocery store, less people are working, it's harder to get that stuff there. Less people are working the shipping routes, harder to get there. It's obviously going to cost more to get there, just because it's going to take longer usually, and that's going to drive the prices up. But also, if you have so many people employed, there's more money going around, so that can also cause inflation. Or if too many people are unemployed, they demand higher wages, that can cause inflation. So there's a good balance of unemployment and employment, and it's just finding like what's perfect with your inflation rate, how much your dollar's worth, all that good stuff, Minimum wage also ties in with inflation and unemployment, I guess. People are arguing, a huge thing right now is they want to make the federal minimum wage $15 an hour, and that's an awful idea, because if everyone started making more money, then their money is worth jack shit. It's probably worth even less than what they're making. I think it's like I don't know what the minimum wage federally is now, but I think in Colorado, at least, it's around like $12.30. But yeah, if they raise the minimum wage federally, more people would probably get into a job right away, and then they'll realize that their dollar's not worth anything because they get paid $3 extra, but then a can of milk is another $3 extra. So that has to do with inflation. And then unemployment, people don't want to work for shitty wages though, so you got to find like a good balance. Like right now in all the ports and all across the coasts, I mean, it's awful working conditions. They're not getting paid enough, and everyone quit. Everyone was like, screw this, I'm done with that. And now we have thousands of cargo ships waiting to be unloaded, poor people are on these cargo ships that don't know when they're going to go home to their families. So they're also usually quitting their jobs on the cargo ships. They're like, screw this, I'm not waiting if no one's here to unload my stuff. So we just have a huge back order, and that's causing prices to go up. And it's just kind of a nightmare right now because Christmas is coming up, and a lot of people aren't going to be able to get their Christmas stuff. That is going to do it for episode 4 of Econ Flix. I got 2 episodes left, so that is exciting. Goodbye, everyone.